Hi, I'm Heather Smith and welcome to Cloud Stories, a podcast exploring the account tech community. Stay in the loop by signing up to the Account Tech newsletter available at heathersmithau.com. Today, Nick Houldsworth, Executive GM Ecosystem of Xero, joined me from the Xero offices in Auckland and we discussed the launch of the Xero App Store. Let me set the scene for the discussion. It starts off with Nick explaining why they created the Xero App Store, what it is, and the thinking behind it. He goes on to explain how the App Store will help match the right app with the right customer and how this will work. As you can imagine, when this announcement was made, there was a lot of discussion about it in the Xero Mastermind group, and I brought their concerns and questions to the interview. Also, to avoid confusion, I should highlight that the Xero App Store is now available in the UK, Australia and New Zealand. Notably, it's currently not available in North America. So as I mentioned initially, the discussion starts off with Nick explaining why they created the Xero App Store.
I just wanted to start by kind of setting the scene for why we've actually made this shift. And it really comes down to solving pain points for our small business customers. And, when we caught up last year, we talked about some of the trends that we'd seen during COVID around how businesses that were technologically savvy were having better outcomes. And actually, by the end of the year, we started to see in the data that supported what we were seeing in the kind of conversations, which is small businesses connected to 5 or more apps on Xero grew their sales by 4.3%, whereas those that were not connected to any applications saw a revenue decline. However, what we see is that not enough businesses are yet connected to software. There's a lot of businesses in Australia and New Zealand who are on Xero, but the usage of other applications tends to fall away quite quickly. And so there's something kind of holding them back from making the journey. Sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming knowing where to start. Sometimes there's just kind of too much choice in the market. At the same time, we've been surveying our developer community and kind of asking what it is that what they're looking to do with Xero. And a lot of them want to continue to grow their customer base and expand into new markets. And so we felt we've always kind of taken a role in helping connect the two sides to help our partners solve for small business. But we see a really opportune time to bring a solution that we think will play a really key role in this. So this is the reason why we've launched the App Store, right? We want this to be the place where small businesses go to discover and buy connected apps on Xero and really provide an environment for app developers to grow their business with Xero. It's been, as you mentioned before, an important part of the story for many apps in the ecosystem. We think there's a huge amount of potential to take this to a whole nother level, especially as Xero continues to scale. So the kind of three updates that went live last week. One is to play that role of matchmaker, helping small businesses find the right connected app and improve, effectively make sense of a lot of the applications that are there, leveraging the data we have on small businesses to have recommendations or search results that really match to their needs. The second one is to leverage the power of our community and the human insights, so that it's not just the robots providing insight to small business, but it's also other users in small businesses like them using this application, and that's our enhanced reviews. And then the third piece is, something that our developers have been asking for a long time, which is how do we actually make it easy to simply trial and purchase your application if you're already a Xero customer? So that's our App Store subscriptions offering. So I'm just going to kind of walk through the typical user journeys that we've started to put in place now since we've gone live. And so starting with that kind of experience of find, obviously we've rebranded the marketplace to the App Store, but we've also enhanced our search and recommendations engine powered on top of Coveo. So we've brought search right up above the fold. We want this to kind of be the first experience. Because we are using Coveo across Xero Central as well as the App Store, we can start to build profiles of our users, such as if you're looking for help with inventory management in our help center, we can start to surface recommendations that are more relevant to your needs in the App Store as well, vice versa. We also know, where you are in your industry and the other applications that you use in businesses like you. So we can begin to both suggest, but also provide results that are much more tailored to your needs. So again, if a business is in the cloud and on Xero, you can go to Google, you could look at review websites, but if you're on the Xero App Store, you know that these applications are vetted, they work with Xero, and we can start to surface those recommendations in a much more tailored and curated way. So the next one is to help with choosing. So we re-platformed our reviews. If you remember, they used to live in Xero Community, and it was quite a disjointed experience. So now they're available inline inside of the Xero App Store. And we've got a much kind of more seamless way, both for users to leave reviews and app developers to respond to those reviews. You can also only leave a review if you're actually using the application. And so, we have a higher level of sort of quality control over that versus, looking up reviews on Google or other review websites where sometimes it's hard to know whether that's actually kind of a real review or not. So this is a really important part of the journey for us. In addition to that, what we're starting to do, we implemented single sign-on a while back, but now we're making it a requirement for apps to join the marketplace, that they have this kind of one-click onboarding experience so that you can begin a free trial and experience that product much faster without having to go and bounce off to another website and fill out multiple forms. And so again, we're trying to make these standardized user experiences much more straightforward and consistent. And then the last piece of the puzzle, the billing capabilities. So really, we've tried to design this to be very usable for our developers, flexible to suit a range of billing scenarios. We've built it on top of Stripe, and so it's really flexible, really developer friendly. And we want to make the experience for small businesses who purchase that very straightforward as well. So once you're ready to purchase, you can choose your plan, enter your credit card details, and then you can manage that subscription inside of the Xero App Store. So that means all of your kind of invoicing can be in one place, and you can manage your upgrades and downgrades with a consistent experience for all apps that are purchased through the store. And also your kind of reviews experience is baked in. So that's the sort of customer view on that. It was really important to us that we thought very carefully about the customer experience, how we help small businesses connect to technology, but also how we deliver real outcomes for our app developers. Because as you know, there's nearly 3 million subscribers on Xero, and there's a lot of applications in the marketplace looking to grow with us. And so we wanted to deliver that real kind of customer value as part of this relaunch of the App Store. But we can only do it with our partners. And so while there's a kind of big uplift to the actual user experience on the App Store, we've actually done a lot of work on the back end of the developer center as well. So we re-platformed developer.xero.com. We've moved everyone from OAuth 1 to OAuth 2, which is a modernized gateway. And we're starting to build new experiences and workflows inside of the developer center. So within the App Store now, we'll be able to show you how many customers have trialed and purchased your application. You'll be able to see how it's growing over time. Whereas previously, it really depended on whether you had good tracking in place and whether you could actually perform this kind of analytics we're providing to you out of the box now. You can drill into those customers and see when they were referred and connected, and you can download this to a CSV and you can tell us if this looks like it's not actually a paying customer. And we've got a pretty effective way for you to kind of dispute and question that. So there's a lot of the questions we're getting is how do we know which customers were referred? How do we track how it's going? And we really thought about providing some flexibility out of the box in that. And we wanted to make this self-service, right? So that app developers who don't necessarily have the capability to manage the pain of billing or have a variety of how they do billing, we want to provide sort of flexible ways of setting up plans, managing plans, and changing those details, as well as managing their review relationship with those customers too. So this is all new capability that exists within the partner dashboard of developer.xero.com. So really that's it. Those are kind of the key changes, the three things: that the ability to kind of find and search, to choose the right app, to leverage the reviews, and then to make that purchase and manage it ongoing in a seamless, consolidated way. And it's gone live, and we're really excited to see the feedback and the questions that come with it as well. Really happy to be chatting to you today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nick, for that overview. I think you've answered a lot of questions that I had there, so I appreciate that. I know that some of the apps have said to me, that some of the representatives of the apps have said to me, they're really excited if you can put this platform in front and assist them in growing their customer base, because it's a lot easier for them and a lot cheaper than other potential referral fee arrangements that they had. So, it's something for people to get to know. In terms of when someone signs up to an app, signs up through Xero, will their free trial be standardized? Will it be like everyone's offering 14 days or 30 days, or will that not
No,
be on them?
No. So we provide flexibility for partners to handle a range of different ways of onboarding and billing customers. And so for the most part, subscription software in the App Store tends to follow a kind of free trial and then purchase flow. It could be 7, 14 or 30 days, but when using our subscription billing capability, that's really at their discretion. The single sign-up flow allows them to we can hand over a user who's ready and qualified and has been kind of matched with their application. They can drop straight into that free trial, and then when that customer is ready to purchase, whether it's 7 or 14 days later, they can then initiate that customer purchases through the Xero App Store, and at that point, we'll collect payment from the customer and pay it out in 7 days. So while we're trying to standardize elements of it, such as the sort of discovery, the handover to free trial, things like how long the trial is, how they kind of bill the customer, and over time, the different ways that they bill the customer, we're going to be building in there as well. So whether that's kind of usage-based or seat-based pricing. So we're trying to design enough flexibility that the partners can make it work within their models, but trying to standardize some of the user experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that sounds like kind of as you would expect it to run. So thank you for clarifying that. I'm interested to know a little bit more about how is the App Store going to suggest solutions to a customer. So does the Xero file need to have registered what industry it is? Because I know that's one of the fields when you first set it up, what industry I'm in. Is the robots, the algorithm, the whatever, looking into the Xero file and how the Xero file is operating? What information is it taking from that to then suggest what you should have?
Yeah, correct. So certainly the better the file is set up to begin with, the better we can play that role of matchmaking. To begin with, we're bringing in some of the kind of common insights. So if they have put in their industry code and they've used the kind of SIC classification, then we can do a much better job of kind of narrowing down the search criteria. This is certainly something that our accounting and bookkeeping partners can do through Xero HQ, but we encourage small businesses to do. In fact, now it's part of the onboarding step for small businesses. It has been for a number of years, but definitely that will make a difference to the kind of qualification of search results. We also look at the region in which they operate, if they're Australia, New Zealand, or the UK. We're starting to, within Cobain, we're obviously starting to build more kind of intelligent signals as well, such as what other pages they've been looking at in Xero Central or in the Xero website or in the App Store itself. And we're also kind of, based on their profile, their industry and their type and their location and what other businesses that look like them are searching for and connecting to, then we can start to leverage the data we have across businesses to make sure that we're matching individual businesses with the right kind of purchase. We'll also start to look at what applications they're using and what might be the next best suitable application for them. So not just, I guess what they're kind of looking for as a first time, but what they might be interested in as a second or third purchase as well. So there's a number of signals we're putting in today. And the great thing about machine learning is that it improves as users use it. It improves as we get more data. And we really think I think it's quite a unique insight to Xero. If you think about the places where small businesses can find applications, the fact that we have this many small businesses, we have this much insight into their trends, whether they're employing the applications that they're using, we think we can really help filter down a lot of the choice in the market to prevent some really clear kind of recommendations or options.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like you said, a really important word before, which was vetted. And we know that the security vetting that goes in place and the integration vetting that goes in place to actually reach the store, because you see solutions out there that say I work with Xero, but don't really work with Xero.
Yes,
So
yes, no, a lot of 100%. A lot of what we've been doing over the last year, building up to this, has to improve that vetting and that quality control. As you know, we work with the Australian Tax Office to implement standardised security standards so we can ensure that all of our partners reach the same kind of threshold of security that we would expect. We recently have been moving all of our partners to OAuth 2, which is a new gateway. And as part of that, we've gone through recertifying all of our app partners, ensuring that they meet the new standards, ensuring that they are, they have been certified by us in order to wear the Xero logo. So there's a lot of that quality control that happens even before they get to the store. And we want to kind of extend on that by playing that kind of matchmaking role within the data. I'd also point out, our partner community plays a really important role in this as well. And, we've always recognized the importance of accounting and bookkeeping and cloud integrator partners and playing that really key role in helping small businesses discover solutions. We don't expect to be the only ones to be able to do this for small business. We really want to complement the work that our partners do and help give them some guidance about what the right solutions are for their clients so that they can have a much better conversation with those small businesses too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always encourage the Xero app partners to publicly talk about what their app stack is and what the typical app stack is, because it just makes it a little bit easier for us to suggest, oh, well, if you're using that, well, maybe you should be using this too as well.
Yeah.
So what impact do you see the App Store having on Xero partners, being the accountants and bookkeepers, and the small business? So you have sort of talked about that you see that they typically make a lot more, they typically making more money if they are connected to an app. So what's the engagement going to be from the accountants and bookkeepers in this App Store?
Yeah, so what we've started with at launch is really trying to design the experience and make it front and center for small businesses to begin with. We see a lot of unmet need in this space where small businesses who are on Xero can extend the capability of their cloud offering by connecting to cloud software. As you know, you and I have been evangelists about this for a long time now, but it still surprises me, even chatting with a builder a couple of months ago. He's like, I know I can be doing more. I love sending invoices through Xero, but I feel like I could be doing more, but I'm just not sure where to start. And so we see a lot of low-hanging fruit and raising the visibility of this for small business, making it more prominent while they're using Xero and helping them find solutions that are more curated to them. We also recognize, and so by doing so, we, if we can connect them with a solution that saves them a few hours a week from, or entering data manually or from getting insights that they would typically have to do through a spreadsheet by producing it in a single view in a cash flow forecast or other application, then ultimately the time outcome for small businesses is fantastic. Once they start to get a better picture of the health of their business, then they can do a lot better job of planning and strategic thinking, right? So forecasting their kind of revenue or cash flow, thinking about employing or hiring. So like these things are, to me, it's really about making sure that they're getting the best out of Xero, right? Xero works beautifully when all of your data comes in automatically, when it's in a really good shape, and when you can actually leverage what's there to perform insights and analysis. And so connecting to small business software not only solves particular workflows, but makes the whole Xero experience work really well. And that's kind of the outcome we're seeking. And we know that there's a lot of different ways to do that. We work with nearly 3 million small businesses, and there's a lot of different ways to solve their needs. And this is part of the power of having a platform is, whatever their needs are, we can provide choice that helps them to solve that. In terms of the accounting and bookkeeping partners, I think it comes down to that original point I made before, which is if your clients are connected on Xero, if their data is coming through in real time and well structured, then the relationship you have with those clients is much more meaningful. You're not spending all your time chasing reports and information, and you can actually have a much better conversation on helping small businesses connect with solutions. So yeah, it is really about improving the relationship between accountants and small businesses, but also for accountants who are starting to explore new ways of growing their client relationships, creating those opportunities within the ecosystem for them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, unfortunately, COVID has been around for a long time now, and I know that you in New Zealand are not experiencing it the same way, Oliver,
We're
many
hanging on by
other
a thread.
people.
Yeah, no, I feel like we're one MIQ case away from.
But what it is doing is actually pushing a lot of people to think about digital options and how can I get into the cloud, etc., which is a silver lining of this situation. And I know myself, I've become obsessed with subscriptions and identifying what subscriptions out there that I can find that I can make my life easier with. So essentially, you're as the platform, you're supporting their subscriptions. So let's talk about the 15% revenue share. The App Store will revenue share 15% plus the payment gateway fees, which makes it kind of around 18%. How did you kind of come up with that figure, and what's that doing for the app partners?
Yeah, so
what's the pain it is solving for the app partners?
Yeah, look, I think we've spoken to developers. We've actually had about a dozen partners in these terms for about a year now, just kind of getting their feedback on what it is that they want to see, what the value exchange is. And we've spoken to them about things like, how do you acquire customers? How do you take your product to market, especially during COVID when we don't have events, we don't have kind of physical roadshows that people can come to. We feel like there was an opportunity to play a much stronger role in driving digital demand. And typically, what would it cost to find a customer on Google or Facebook or elsewhere? And can we play a much stronger role in matching you with some of the amazing customers that are already on Xero? So we really started from talking to our partners and understanding their needs and what technology they were looking for. We also looked at, the industry and what the standards were around subscription app stores and marketplaces. And we felt like this was a really fair and attractive point. And given the kind of potential to unlock nearly 3 million customers who are ready to go, who are at a much higher conversion rate. And so the feedback overwhelmingly was that this is a really attractive value exchange for us participating on the Xero platform. In terms of the actual billing fee, so typically if they were billing the customer, if we were billing the customer, there would always be a merchant and payment gateway fee. And so we feel like that kind of represents that. We also wanted to make sure that it was still fair and attractive for developers who bring customers onto the platform themselves. So we still encourage our app partners to sell direct. A lot of them have built up their own channels over the years, and we certainly don't want to be charging customers who are bringing small businesses onto the platform themselves. And so, it's still free to use the API when you're bringing on your own customers. We're really focused on unlocking more potential through the App Store, driving sales, and a success fee for where we generate the business for our partners. And so that's kind of how we landed on the model.
Yeah. I can imagine that the cost savings of not having to go to events, if they don't want to go to events, easily outweigh this. This is easily a more attractive option. While we like seeing them at conferences, and while we like going to conferences, we'll definitely be extraordinarily expensive. Yes, and it's not just XeroCon. There's a lot of conferences out there, and they can be extraordinarily expensive, and especially for the niche apps, they might not get the foot traffic that they actually need. And this actually gets them the direct foot traffic that they need.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as you know, when I was Chief Marketing Officer at Vend, we came to a lot of Xero events, but it wasn't
with
always
hot sauce.
Yeah, with the
hot sauce.
Yeah, but for some of our, for some of the apps who were building products directly for accountants, it was probably a better ROI than our niche apps that were building more for small business. And so at Vend, we're always looking for ways to grow digitally and get in front of small business. And we saw a lot of opportunity with Xero. Since I joined a few years back, that's probably been part of the mission. How do we unlock more of the Xero ecosystem and community for app developers who are building amazing solutions, especially prevalent during COVID, right? Digital became even more important. Yeah. So we're really happy with the timing of this. We see a lot of opportunity to actually grow the opportunity for all of our app partners, whether they're selling to small business, whether they're selling to accountants, or whether they're even more kind of niche and enterprise. And so the timing of this is really great. We think it's a really great way to get in front of small businesses, and we're doing it for apps that are in one market looking to expand in others too. Solving some of those kind of challenges around foreign currency, managing tax. And so we've really thought about how we build a strong proposition with this.
It will be interesting to see that, because I know apps say, oh, Heather, I'm approved or vetted for Australia and New Zealand, but I'm still not approved or vetted for the American market, and whether that is a faster rollout for them, because getting into some of those markets is obviously massive opportunity for them. So that is very exciting for them. And even some of the smaller markets that is complex and confusing, if you're going to sort out all the tax side of it, they'll make it easier for them.
Yeah, we're definitely invested in this product and this platform. It's we see this as a really important kind of milestone for us to unlocking the potential of the platform. But it's just the beginning, right? It's how do we reinvest this to really build out the developer tooling, to round out the suite of APIs, to invest in more opportunities for partners to grow with Xero. We have so many stories of app developers who have built a product for a small market in Australia and then quickly found that they got customers in the UK. And even before they put boots on the ground there, they had a kind of presence and a brand awareness that would be hard to achieve on your own. And so we recognize plenty of opportunity to do more of that. And this is a really important milestone in how we do it.
Absolutely. I know that there's 5 or 6 different Xero versions depending on the country, but I know that my Xero YouTube videos are watched in 139 countries. So I don't know how many countries Xero is being used in, but that's a lot of countries you got to deal with if you're sorting out the complexities of moving into each country.
Yeah, for sure.
The revenue share incentivizes Xero to push people to the App Store. What marketing activities do you have planned to achieve this?
Yeah, so, well, first of all, there's a lot we can do that doesn't require marketing. And so we've already started to think about, how do we start to contextually recommend those solutions to customers while they're using Xero. In fact, we have in trial now a widget in the dashboard that says, hey, it looks like you're in this industry. Have you thought about these 3 applications? And so, playing that matchmaker role throughout the product is a really important focus for us, bringing more visibility into the navigation and even, across other assets like Xero Central. So before we even have to start spending marketing dollars, we see a lot of potential to make apps and the App Store much more prominent throughout the user journey, which naturally raises visibility and drives more volume and sales to our partners. In addition to that, we've put a team and an investment behind actually driving eyeballs as well through, digital marketing, campaign activity and PR, because we know that a lot of businesses are their experience of Xero happens when they're not in the product as well. And so, knowing that a customer has used Xero or been to the website, we can do a good role of presenting them solutions that are relevant for them and bringing them back to the App Store. So we've got a number of activities underway to drive awareness, and we've been testing them with partners over the course of the last year who've been kind of beta testing this with us. And we've seen, significant uplift in page views and a higher conversion rate through. And so we'll start to roll out more of this stuff, including marketing packs and programs that we can bring to bear with our partners. So we see a big investment in this area in driving up volume. And as we said before, with app developers who can't get to physical events now or can't necessarily afford them, just a lot of low-hanging fruit that we can tap into there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the apps have been saying to me constantly, how can we get in front of people? How can we get in front of people? How can we get in front of people? There's no events for us to attend, and sort of you've actually come out and sort of given them a really strong platform to actually do that. So
that's definitely our hope and ambition with this. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So how will you be using this revenue that you're raising? Will you be using it for improving the security, API connections, the ability to mark off transactions to the attached clearing accounts from the Xero and the connected apps?
I lost you for a moment there, Heather.
Did you?
But it's almost like Zoom knew. I think Look, we've always been invested ahead of the curve in this part of the business. We've been building our APIs and our ecosystem for a number of years, and this just allows us to accelerate that investment. Specifically for the platform itself and the capabilities, then 100%. Like if you look at the kind of work that we've done in developer.xero.com, replatforming the front end, enhancing documentation and search, and starting to build workflows in the logged in state, you'll start to see a lot more work happening there, a lot more insights that we can provide to app developers. So, for example, now that we've got interesting insights in what users are searching for and what applications are fulfilling those needs or not fulfilling those needs, our ability to provide insights back to the app community and the developer community around use cases that could add value to our customer base is going to be really interesting. So I think we'll provide more insights to the community around, where they can play and where the opportunities are. We've introduced App Health, which is, a kind of automated way to see how your integration is performing, whether you're getting common errors, continuing to make it easy for our developers to raise the bar on the quality of their integration, as well as, going further with the reviews and providing that kind of mechanism to engage with the community and get feedback. So expect to see a lot there around helping app partners improve their integration and extend into new places that our customers are looking for. I think at the same time, what we see with the App Store subscriptions is it's kind of one less thing for developers to do when they're building an integration with Xero, and the same with the App Store listing itself. And so there are different ways that we can think about effectively doing the hard things on behalf of our partners so they can focus on delivering value. So expect to see some improvements, not only in the actual APIs that fuel the platform, but the capability that makes it even easier for developer partners to work for us, because we have a strong belief that when developers win, our small businesses win. And so our team's mission is to really help those developers build quality integrations and products with Xero, because ultimately our customers thrive. In terms of Xero's, overall products and features and, our core accounting engine, we've got a really strong focus on continuing to enhance our core product, right across the stack. You would have seen a blog post from Anna Curzon recently talking about how we're paying down some of the technical debt and really thinking about the strength of the core offering at the same time as adding new features and functionality. So, without telling you what's coming up on our roadmap exactly, I can tell you that there's a really big focus on solving some of those more common pain points in our core product, as well as enhancing and adding new functionality. And look, that's a very similar approach we're taking with our developer platform. We know that a lot of what we've done is, kind of leveling up the tools and the capability, and we'll continue to invest in that. But we see a lot of opportunity to deliver really exciting new features and functionality that will, make a big difference for our developer and app partners too.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And listening to you, I'm wondering whether what we're going to get is a lot. I was listening to this lady and she said that the people who suffer the most lockdowns actually register the most IPs or the most patents. And so I just have this vision of all these people sort of coming out with minimum viable products, but actually being able to attach it to the Xero ecosystem or the Xero App Store. You sort out all the billing for them and they can kind of like put it up there for like $1, like it does on my phone or my mobile device. And suddenly we have all these apps that we can just access for $1. So anyone who's out there who's got an app more than $1, I'm not suggesting you should.
No, 100%. And so think about, what you'll see coming out of the developer platform is making that even easier. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we've invested in the curation of that so that our small businesses can kind of get to value really quickly as well. So we definitely think about both sides of this. And my first experience of using Xero was connecting MinuteDoc and seeing the power of doing time tracking over here and pushing invoices through Xero and reconciling my bank statement. I believe this is still a really big differentiator for Xero, is the strength of our platform and app ecosystem. And, this has been a kind of multi-year investment and thinking about how we take it to the next level. And it's going to be really exciting to see all the things that will be coming up on the back of this. And frankly, the interesting innovations and things that our community come up with that we just can't predict. That's the most exciting part about running a platform business like Xero.
Yeah, this does make it easier for them. It gives them a roadmap and step-by-step instructions on how, or a blueprint on how to get there. So thank you so much, Nick, for spending time with me today. Really appreciate you answering my questions. Thank you, Sarah, also there in the background. I've got to tell you, the most bizarre thing about this interview has been people have been walking by you, Nick, because we don't have people walking randomly.
I'm in an office. I do this. When I spoke at our event recently, I sat in front of it. I wanted to look like a TV studio.
Yeah, it's like there's people just close to you walking by you. So,
yeah.
But it's wonderful to see someone who's not in lockdown. This bizarre, unusual world that we're living in, and it's wonderful that you've gone ahead and championed this and rolled it out, and hopefully it's a really useful and valuable platform for everyone, for the small business, for the accountants and bookkeepers, and for the app partners. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Heather. Look, there's a lot of really passionate people at Xero who have been, evangelizing this and have really worked hard to make this work. And there's a lot of fantastic partners that we've worked with over the years and more recently to ensure that we get this right. And, I'm really grateful. I want to thank all of them. And as I said, this is really just the beginning. This is just the beginning of something new. And so we're really excited. Look forward to hearing more feedback and seeing what your listeners think and welcoming them on board with all their great ideas. It's really
absolutely exciting. Well, I think the app partners and the listeners probably want to see it in action, test it, try it, and probably will have those detailed questions. But I think we were here today to sort of give a good, solid overview, and I think that's what we've achieved.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Heather.
So, what are your thoughts on the new Xero App Store? I've heard a spectrum of opinions from the app tech community, from shock to suggesting the revenue share is too high, to suggesting the revenue share is fair. Someone commented if the revenue improves the API connections, then their engineers will save time and development, in turn reducing their expenses. Another said, if it brings me customers, I'm happy. Since COVID impacted conferences, with many in the app community have been asking me, how can we get in front of the accountants and the bookkeepers and the small businesses? There are only so many webinars we can run. So the vision of the Xero App Store is to help match the right app with the right customer, and maybe while we're in this pandemic, it fills the conference void, and like many businesses that have pirouetted, it is a new opportunity that we can all leverage and benefit from. So if you want to continue the conversation, jump into the thread on the Xero Mastermind Facebook page. The interview was at a high level, and I'll drop into the show notes links to resources that may provide further information for you. If you do have any further questions about how the Xero App Store will work or the impact on you and your team, Xero are happy to answer any of your questions that we weren't able to cover. Reach out to them at api@xero.com. I'll repeat that, api@xero.com. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Nick Houldsworth, Sarah Scott, and the team at Xero who helped coordinate turning around an interview so fast. You've been listening to the Cloud Stories podcast. To help other people find this podcast, it's really helpful if you subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and you can also subscribe to the Account Tech newsletter at heathersmithau.com. Thank you.